Hello, and welcome to this presentation of a Reader's Guide to the Fishery Ecosystem Plan Appendix, which appears as Agenda Item E2, Attachment 1, for the March 2015 Pacific Fishery Management Council meeting. If you are already familiar with the Fishery Ecosystem Plan Appendix and with the Council process for considering potential ecosystem initiatives, this presentation will not provide any new information beyond that in the Fishery Ecosystem Plan or its appendix. This presentation briefly describes the Council's Ecosystem Initiative Review process and the contents of the Fishery Ecosystem Plan's appendix to help you plan your reading time. You may want to open an electronic copy of the Fishery Ecosystem Plan appendix now so that you can scroll through it as I discuss each section during this presentation. The appendix is at the Council's regular ecosystem-based management website. It also appears with other March 2015 meeting materials on the Council's website, www.pcouncil.org. At that website, go to the Council Operations tab, and under that tab, click on Briefing Books. That click will take you to the Council's Briefing Books webpage. Click on the Current Briefing Book Materials link for March 2015. Once you reach the March 2015 Briefing Book webpage, click on Section E of the Briefing Book, Ecosystem-Based Management. In Section E, you will find the Fishery Ecosystem Plan Appendix at Agenda Item E2A, Attachment 1. The Council adopted both the Fishery Ecosystem Plan and its appendix at its April 2013 meeting. The Council has not revised either of these documents since its Ecosystem Plan development team finished the Council's last edits in July 2013. Section 1.3 of the Fishery Ecosystem Plan describes the Council's annual process to review its progress on ecosystem initiatives at its March meetings. This process is also described in the introduction to the plan's appendix, which you will find on page A3 of the appendix. The Fishery Ecosystem Plan itself is not scheduled for a review until March 2018, but the appendix may be reviewed and updated at the Council's March meetings in odd-numbered years. This March 2015 meeting is important because it's the first time the Council has considered reviewing and updating the appendix and its initiatives. So let's continue walking through the appendix. For this agenda item E2, you can skip pages A4 through A13, which describe the Council's April 2013 thoughts on Ecosystem Initiative 1. For this March 2015 meeting, the Council is scheduled to take final action on Initiative 1 under agenda item E4. Current information on that initiative to protect unfished forage fish is provided at the Briefing Book website for agenda item E4. Pages A14 through A25 of the appendix describe potential ecosystem initiatives for Council consideration. Under the agenda item E2, the Council will discuss whether to revise the descriptions of any of the existing initiatives, eliminate any of the existing initiatives, or whether to add any new initiatives to the appendix. None of these initiatives are commitments to Council action. They are ideas that the Council may pursue. If, at this meeting, the Council decides to pursue an ecosystem initiative, it will do so by first requesting more detailed background information for that initiative, which would come at some later Council meeting. Existing potential initiatives explore some of the core values of the Magnuson-Stevens Fishery Conservation and Management Act. Initiative A21 on pages A14 and A15 is about looking at the potential long-term effects of Council harvest policies on the age distribution and size distribution of our managed fish stocks. Initiative A22 on pages A15 and A16 suggests researching and identifying smaller biogeographic regions within the California current ecosystem to look at the interactions between fisheries and other human activities on more localized scales. Initiative A23 on pages A16 and A17 would assess bycatch levels and bycatch management and monitoring across council fisheries for a better picture of the cumulative effects of bycatch in council-managed fisheries. Initiative A24 on pages A17 and A18 suggests conducting the Council's 5-year essential fish habitat reviews as one ecosystem-wide review for the California current ecosystem, particularly looking at where essential fish habitat overlaps for species in different fishery management plans. Initiative A25 on pages A18 and A19 is linked to the Magnuson-Stevens Act's National Standard 10 on promoting the safety of human life at sea, and would review West Coast fisheries for any safety challenges and whether there are fishery regulations that create incentives or disincentives for safe fishing practices. Initiative A26, the Human Recruitment to the Fisheries Initiative, is on pages A19 through A21 and looks at the long-term health of fishing communities by considering the age distribution of fisheries participants and whether there are financial or regulatory barriers for young people wanting fishing careers. Initiative A27 on pages A21 and A22 also addresses the human side of fisheries by calling for a multi-fishery assessment of the economic and social effects of council management programs. Initiative A28 on pages A22 and A23 would look at how near-term climate shifts and long-term climate change interact with council-managed species and fisheries to help us think about their relative vulnerability to changing temperatures, acidity levels, and dissolved oxygen levels. Initiative A29 on pages A24 and A25 looks at whether the Council's National Environmental Policy Act analyses could be better supported by more or different research on indicators on the state of the environment. For this March 2015 meeting, the Council will be reviewing the Fishery Ecosystem Plan Appendix and will decide whether to revise any of the initiatives, add to or remove any of the initiatives, and will decide whether to move forward and request more background information on any of the initiatives, looking for reports to more fully flesh out the ideas summarized in the appendix. Keep an eye on the Council's briefing book materials at Agenda Item E2 for comments from the advisory bodies and the public on the appendix and its initiatives. The Council is scheduled to review and provide guidance on this issue at its March 2015 meeting in Vancouver, Washington, under Agenda Item E2. Council advisory bodies may also discuss this issue at their upcoming meetings held concurrently with the Council meeting. Please see the Council's website for meeting details. Thank you for listening. This concludes the Reader's Guide to the Fishery Ecosystem Plan Appendix.